Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 3rd of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very worried about the future of Star Wars and exactly how Disney's CEO Bob Chapek is really going to handle everything Star Wars related moving throughout this entire decade. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Star Wars is that, of course, as of right now, Kathleen Kennedy no longer has any creative control over the existing projects in the early development phase, which I honestly think is a great move by Disney. The fact that we're going to have different tones of these new Star Wars TV shows and these movies to come in the near future, I think it could very well show us exactly what the sequel trilogy could have been like if Kathleen Kennedy did not interfere with the creative choices and decisions. Now, with that being said, Mark Hamill, we do know that he, as an actor, had a lot of issues with how the character of Luke was used in The Last Jedi, and even how he wanted Luke to be used in The Force Awakens was not, of course, pretty much brought up to the expectations for Mark Hamill with J.J. Abrams. Now, when we look at everything related to the character of Luke, obviously a lot of fans out there had a lot of big issues with how he was portrayed by, of course, Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi, etc. And when you look at Kathleen Kennedy, right, a lot of fans have issues with her as head of Lucasfilm as well. Now, what's really intriguing is that, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker saga, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe, that will create a better future for Star Wars. Now, it's explained that Disney has a plan in place to create a way to reunite the fans starting sometime in 2021 next year, when the new universe will actually really begin to roll out. However, during and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to the cast and the crew and the creators of the film and elements of what happened behind the scenes, where it's explained that at one point in time when Mark Hamill was questioned about Kathleen Kennedy's leadership as head of Lucasfilm, Hamill at one point stated that he and Kathleen Kennedy had some differences on how Luke should be portrayed for Episode 9, and that Hamill proposed the idea to Kennedy to use some of his ideas by Colin Trevorrow's script for Luke Skywalker's role. However, Hamill stated that Kennedy wanted to completely dismiss Colin's work in the latest film's cut in order for JJ and Chris Terrio to develop their own thing, and that Kathleen Kennedy helped with changing the ending multiple times in early 2019 before they wrapped filming. Now, when Hamill was also questioned about The Force Awakens and his role as Luke Skywalker, Hamill revealed that he also insisted to Kathleen Kennedy that she should actually stay true to the comics and books version of Luke Skywalker, and that it was Kennedy's idea to not include Luke in the later scripts as much as would take the attention away from the new characters like Rey and Kylo Ren being set up. Hamill also stated that with The Last Jedi, Kathleen and Rian Johnson actually worked very closely together on how Luke would meet his demise at the very end of the film, and that Hamill did not fully agree with how he died, calling it a Force overdose, jokingly. So, the thing about Mark Hamill, right? We do know that he's pretty much on the same page with the fans, at least from, what we have heard from him saying in interviews and everything related to his feelings about the sequel trilogy. He really did have a lot of problems with how Luke was used. I think that Mark Hamill obviously just could not outright say that in those words, but we saw that he backtracked a little bit sometime in 2018. I would say mid-2018, and we actually talked about this of how Kathleen Kennedy was the one who interrupted Mark Hamill and said that, you gotta reverse your statements and do all these things. Even Mark Hamill said at one point in time, he got in trouble on Twitter for revealing the trailer date for The Last Jedi, if I'm not mistaken, and he had to actually take that down, and a lot of fans, knew the actual trailer date because of Mark Hamill. So, when you look at Mark Hamill, obviously, he's more so in connection with the fans. It's one of the main reasons as to why he's very active on Twitter. He's very much, proud of his work. He loves the fans. He likes communicating with the fans. That's exactly how I think, at least, the business end of things should be handled when it comes to Star Wars. That's exactly how Kathleen Kennedy should be. she should understand exactly what the fans want at the end of the day. So, with Mark Hamill, revealing all these things about Kathleen Kennedy, how, she worked very closely with Rian Johnson, and how Luke would meet his demise at the very end of the film, and how Kennedy played a role in that, and how she also played a role in many of the different endings of The Rise of Skywalker being changed here and there, and how, of course, Mark Hamill insisted for Luke to be more true to the comics and the books version of Luke before the sequel trilogy ever even started, and how that was completely dismissed by Kennedy. But the biggest thing of all is the fact that Mark wanted a lot of Colin Trevorrow's work for Luke to be put into Episode 9, and Kennedy did not want that to happen. Very unfortunate. So, with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.